Part 5. Let's see if we can finish it this time, huh? Let's get it done. We were talking about George Lemaitre, the Catholic priest who first proposed the idea of an expanding universe. And Hibbler has some things to say about him. What do you got?
Look, he's not a scientist. He's not government. He's a priest. He's Catholic. He's holy. This is brand new. This isn't thousands of years old. This isn't the Big Bang's been around for thousands of years. Heliocentrism's been around for thousands of years. No, they create fictional characters. Galileo, Copernicus.
No. I am 99% sure that the Big Bang was hypothesized long before it became an actual thing. Let's do some digging here. God, that's disgusting. The article for the TV show comes up before the...
Despacito!
There we go. In 1912, Vesto Slipher measured the first Doppler shift of a spiral nebula and soon discovered that almost all such nebula were receding from Earth. He didn't grasp the implications of it, but we knew that things were moving away from us. So we knew about this over 100 years ago. Interesting.
They create characters to support
Characters.
the New World Order, their agenda. The way they change the entire school system and structure of what we know and all the information and knowledge that we obtain. If it's false, then yeah, they got their goal. A nation of workers, not thinkers. No one thinks.
What's the circumference of the globe?
That's a good point. No one thinks. What is the circumference of the globe? Dearth?
I have no idea.
How fast is it spinning at the equator?
Don't know.
How
fast is it spinning? 15 degrees per hour.
fast is it orbiting the sun?
Cody?
Once a year.
You have glasses on. You should know this.
How fast is the sun moving?
Man, you're asking some questions I'm not ready to answer.
See, this is the point. You guys laugh at flat Earth, but one, you don't know what flat Earth is, and worse is you don't even know what your own solar system is. They don't know their own model. You can ask them, what's the radius of the Earth? How was it found? What's the speed of the Earth around the sun? How fast is the Earth spinning at the equator? How fast is it chasing the sun? How many miles does it go a year? How far is the sun?
So notice how they had some nobody on. Like, who the fuck was that guy? They didn't bring on, Fight Flat Earth. They didn't bring on Professor Dave. They didn't bring on me. People who could answer at least some of those questions on the spot. And by the way, you can look up those irrelevant details when you need to. But just rattling them off like that, all that tells me, Dearth, is that you can memorize things. Good for you. You're about as smart as a pigeon.
No, but they don't know any of these things, but yet they defend this and they ridicule and make fun of flat earthers.
All the things that I was
Because you're stupid.
patronizing and condescending and going, oh, sloughing off, that's not worthy of me. They rose up to eye level. And I remember saying, boy, the world is flat. I'm looking it in the eye. I see further, I see wider, I see clearer.
I settled on near.
Someone give me context for that, because I already have enough reasons to be annoyed with Matthew McConaughey. He's a bit of a dumbass, but if he's actually a flat earther, holy shit, I hate him that much more.
Infrared, like some of these cameras can be converted to near infrared, So then I started taking photos, and since I was doing a lot of flying, I started going up, and boom. I was actually amazed to see the incredible flatness that you get from high altitude. Everywhere I looked,
That didn't look
there was
completely
like
flat
clues
to
that
me.
this is flat. And I was like, this.
That did not look completely flat to me. I wanna grab a wide, noisy chair. I wanna grab a wide shot of that and compress it left to right. Bet it's not flat.
blowing my mind. Everywhere I look, the earth is flat, and NASA is lying about the curve.
That is
because
just
I said,
blurry as
"Something
shit."
is eerily wrong over here, man. When I saw across
Where even was the horizon in that last shot?
the Gulf, right off the coast of Texas there in Louisiana, flying to Orlando, and I saw all the way out in the distance, and you could even see the rays of light at a different angle. That tripped me out. But if you really go up high, then you realize, oh my God, the Earth is extremely flat.
This would be impossible on a globe.
Eye level horizon has been debunked 1,000 times. I've always argued the horizon doesn't rise to eye level. Your eye rises to horizon level. But there's plenty of footage. Wolfie's done plenty of footage proving that, in fact, the horizon does not rise to your eye level.
There is no 8 inches per mile square.
Because that doesn't create a ball. 8 inches per mile squared creates a parabola.
For curvature of 8 inches per mile squared has been debunked over and over again. The flat earthers with their P900s and their P1000 cameras are constantly seeing things way off beyond the supposed curvature of Earth.
In fact,
What the hell was I supposed to be seeing there? That Toronto skyline. First of all, that Venus shot, they just like threw that in there, and I guess they're not going to expand on it, but like, yeah, focus your cameras, guys. And don't use a fucking Nikon P900 to look at Venus. Use a telescope. But what the hell was I looking at in that Toronto skyline?
With their P900s and their P1000 cameras are constantly seeing things way off beyond the supposed curvature.
Oh, is that the CN Tower there? Way in the distance? Okay, that's cool. Well, that looks like shit. But I have something here. There we go. There we go. That's how that works. That's how that works.
in fact, many tests have been done with lasers, cameras, filming mountain ranges 300, 400, 500, 600, 700 miles into the horizon, which are visible and shouldn't be visible if we were living on a globe.
Notice how they're not giving the math of those. They're just proposing all these things without the actual numbers, especially with all of Jay Tolan's stuff from planes. Like, planes make it really iffy because you're really high up. You can see further from that far. Without numbers, it's all worthless. It doesn't matter. It's all, we did a test. Believe us.
This is how much distance he covered with his camera. And he could see from here the Rocky Mountains. There you go. There is no 8 inches per mile square.
There's no way you can see 500 miles on the other side of the...
Because I said so. Oh my god, they're harping so hard on 8 inches per mile squared. So, as most people know, 8 inches per mile squared is good for short, relatively short observations, but does not, in fact, create a circle. So it's not the correct formula overall. And I'm going to say when you're up in a plane at cruising altitude at 36,000 feet, 8 inches per mile squared is probably going to be pretty useless.
There's no buildings that are curving backwards. If point A to point B, you're on a ball, they're not going to be flat up and down like on our flat Earth. They're going to be like this. There's no tilting. They've measured distances from the base of buildings to the top. Level.
No, absolutely not. I'd love to see the details on that, because the math on this has been done. A relatively, like a decent line of sight observation when you're looking at a building for, like, when we're looking at, hold up, where was that image? Let me get the CN Tower image again. So 39 miles. What did Reds figure out? It was something like 0.01 degrees of tilt at 12 miles. They do tilt very, very slightly. It's basically like take a pen and put it at the opposite end of a long hallway from you and tilt it back 0.1 degrees. Can you tell?
And flat.
People look out at the ocean and you see ships and stuff, and it appears like these ships and boats, they go down, and that is a huge factor as to why people think the Earth is round.
Because they do.
If you look at the ocean or a lake, it looks flat. Look at that. Look how straight and flat that horizon is.
Looks flat, doesn't it?
See, it looks like a table or a board. Now, once in a while, you might see mountains or hills, but those are just like little bumps on what looks like a flat Earth. As ships sail away, they don't disappear all at once. No, first, the bottom will disappear. See, the bottom of the ship is gone. Now we can see midway up, and then...
This is really poorly edited because they're trying to put in these two other videos of all these other observations, but I'm trying to pay attention to what Bill Nye's saying, and I'm not. You can't pay attention to three things at once, so this doesn't really give us any information.
The whole thing disappears. So people realized that the world is curved. I mean, it's a big curve, but it's curved. That's what we call pseudoscience.
As people pointed out.
Disappears.
Hang on.
So people realized that the world is curved. I mean, it's a big curve, but it's curved.
As people pointed out in the previous video, that that image on the right there, the that antenna thing, whatever that is, sticking out on the left side, appears to be slightly bent. Wonder why that is. But yeah, so Bill is right. Ships disappearing over the horizon is one of the proofs that the Earth is a globe. But he's simplifying it. You know why? Because this is a show for children. Literally, this is a show I grew up with as a kid. So it's dumbed down a little bit. Just keep that in mind. Flat Earthers are using a children's television show.
That's what we call pseudoscience.
You could buy a camera now that zooms times 100, and you could zoom in on these ships and boats leaving your view, your human eyeballs view, pull out a camera and zoom in on it, and suddenly you're back. It's on top of a level surface, still cruising.
So
Except it doesn't. Like, it can for a little while. It will be invisible to your eye faster than it will be invisible to a zoom lens, but eventually it will also be invisible to that zoom lens, and it won't disappear all at once. You keep talking about this, and you don't mention why they disappear bottom up, because if they were just getting further away, they wouldn't do that. They would shrink in totality. So they're coming to get me. The cop's just like fucking around with his siren too. What is that? Okay. Alright. That's a great screen grab.
limit of your vision is where the sky meets the ground due to perspective. As they come together, that's the limit of your vision. That's called our horizon. The horizon is optical. If you had a super zoom camera, you can zoom in and make this angular size bigger to reveal small objects that you couldn't see. And then when you zoom out,
but keep filming
together and things disappear into the horizon, not over.
We see.
Except they don't. There are time lapses of them going over the horizon, not into the horizon. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Skylines beyond what we're supposed to see. I mean, the visibility from 100, 200, 500 miles away, it debunks the whole 8 inches per mile squared.
At 36,000 feet.
Photogrammetry, I think, is one of the best way to convince yourself. You do multiple images of the ground, and then you put it in a software, and you realize how flat it is. You're seeing it yourself. It's your data. Nobody's lying to you. You've taken the data yourself. It's not Jay Tolan that's trying to, troll you. Like some people, they're like, he's trolling people, man.
And it's not SpaceX or NASA doing it either. It's yourself.
Yeah, it's yourself. You're doing your own experiment.
Many times when you're looking out over water, there's
That was embarrassing.
waves. Well, those waves will block entire city skylines. If this was a wave right near me, if my face was a city skyline, it blocks just the bottom. But if that wave was closer to you, it blocks much more of it. It's all perspective.
You're saying temporary waves are what make things appear to disappear bottom first? Do you realize how stupid that sounds? What? What?
And I thought I wasn't going to get anything that would beat this until I found this photo, Grandmere State Park. This is from Joshua Nowicki. And what you're seeing here is a mirage. Typically, we would not be able to see this. This image would be viewable from much, much higher in the sky. I
don't know if anybody could see my soul dying there when this clip first started. This is so old. This is stuff that Red's Rhetoric and Jaronism were debating in 2016. Like, this is so old. And it's done. It's over. The Chicago skyline thing is totally done because on a clear day, you can't see any of those buildings at all. Completely debunked.
in space. The story has been one of the most viewed stories on our website ever. They say my explanation is a cover-up. A cover-up to their belief that this picture is proof the Earth is flat.
The one goal I had was to prove that what people are seeing from the other side of Lake Michigan is not a mirage, that they are actually seeing the city.
I don't feel comfortable with this. For those who don't know, Rob Skiba was a flat earther who passed away fairly recently of COVID. I don't want to make fun of him right now. Okay, we're gonna have to get through it, everybody.
I think it's amazing, dude. It certainly did. It's not a mirage, I can tell you that. No.
Our focal point was the Sears Tower,
which is also known as the Willis Tower, right?
Yes, the Willis Tower.
The Willis Tower, and we can see it the entire time.
We can see it the entire time.
That's not a mirage.
I don't think the original photo was taken in the water. Pretty sure it was taken from the opposite shoreline. I don't think they're anywhere near the same place that the original photo was taken. So what is the point of this?
It's not a mirage. Whatever you're looking at.
You see it?
Yeah.
That's that. You see that bridge?
It's not a mirage.
That's the proof right here. That's the proof.
I was shocked to find out that there are a number of people that believe the Earth is still flat, and that to them, this is actually proof that the Earth is flat. One person just
I didn't know the reporter found out.
questioning me and asking me for a retraction of the articles and lies. A lot of people try and kind of be nice about it. Well, are you sure you did it right? And then they send me links that the Earth is flat. And some are just pretty straightforward about it, and they title replies calling me a deceiver and that I should check my degree or quit telling lies on television. It got me questioning a lot of things. Were my calculations right?
No. You can obviously...
Yeah, there definitely wasn't more to that video at all.
see Chicago from that far away. It really is the Chicago skyline. We can see things farther and farther away than that and prove it.
Again, pretty sure that is nowhere near the location of the photo they've been showing.
You can prove it yourself. You can go there on a clear day and see the same thing. You can
Go where?
through the same tests.
Go where? You keep saying go there, but at no point have you told us where the original photo was taken.
And prove it to yourself. That's the best way to do it, right? Prove it to yourself. You're not taking anyone's word for it. It's you're doing your own experiment. It's not a mirage. It's not an illusion. It's Chicago from 60 plus miles away. I mean, we could barely see the street sign a few blocks ahead of us on a foggy day. I mean, they're spraying our skies with shit all the time. You can open your weather apps
Just
right
throw
now
that in
and
there.
it'll tell you the visibility. But that's how far they're telling you can see through the weather patterns. There's so many different factors of why we can't see that far. We're not superheroes. I mean, take any flat and level road around your house safely. Test it out, make sure it's level. Maybe take your camcorder and you...
No. Roads are not perfectly flat and level. Who told you this? This is a lie.
bring it all the way down to the ground, and you zoom in and you see all this distortion, and it kind of vaporizes and glows.
On a yeah, tarmac on a hot day, duh.
Heads want to act like this bridge is bending around a curve, and there's the curve. It's like, no, it's an optical illusion. That's all it is. This has been replicated many times. There is no curvature. Stop fooling yourselves.
Notice how that guy didn't disappear bottom first?
And even something like the sun, when it goes across this huge plane, it sets and it disappears due to
perspective.
No. It doesn't change angular size throughout the day, which is the biggest killing point. Like, that alone destroys anything flat earthers have to say about the sun. Because if you put a solar filter on and film the sun throughout the day, it will remain the exact same size all day. That would not happen if it was moving away from us. It would get smaller.
So you're seeing it come and go on such a vast plane. It's so huge that the sun could come through
Bottom first.
and go so far away.
Look at that beautiful globe proof.
It just goes out of your view and behind so many false horizons, i.e. mountains, trees, forests, city buildings, just really tall things. Keep in mind, the sun is much smaller and close.
This is an intelligently designed and created place. As the sun and
That-
stars are rotating around, knowing that
That experiment makes no sense. And it's childlike. I have no response to it because it's just really dumb.
we can only see a certain amount of light, I think, like 1%. There's only so much light our eyes can actually see. Unless you're on like DMT, I'm sure you can see way more lights. But naturally, we can't see that many lights in the sky. All ancient civilizations spoke about other bodies,
Oh,
other around like
hang on.
DMT. I'm sure you can see way more lights. But naturally, we can't see that many lights in the sky. All ancient...
Okay, that looked... It only flashed up for a second and I was like, that looks,
civilizations spoke
familiar.
about other bodies, other lights in the sky that may or may not be visible to us at any given time. It's
It's
crazy.
lens
It's
flare.
like solar eclipse. You don't see the moon at all. I remember as a kid, I like, where's the moon now? And it's like you just see this black circle, and then everything goes back to normal. It seems like it's like, what the heck just happened?
On the total eclipse of the sun, the shadow that the moon casts on the earth is only 70 miles wide. That is impossible, but then they come up with umbra and penumbra, and it's just stuff to confuse your mind. We have an infinitely far sun sending diagonal rays from the sun.
You know, examples of umbras and penumbras exist in, like, on a smaller scale in reality. It's just stuff to confuse your mind. Like, that is just shorthand for I don't understand.
And straight rays from the middle, and where they cross each other, it makes absolutely no sense.
I went live a few years ago on YouTube during the 2018 eclipse in the United States on a live event, and we were all waiting for the moon to actually show up to cause this elliptical, this eclipse, and all we found was no moon showed up.
There it is. It's right there. In front of the sun.
So that blew my mind to think that there was actually no moon visible, yet this effect of the sun literally being covered by an object, I had witnessed.
Why can't we see the moon approach the sun, eclipse the sun, or exit the sun? And we don't. We just see a black circle eclipsing the sun. We never see it next to the sun. Now people say, well, it's because the sun is so bright.
Yeah.
When the moon is totally eclipsing the sun, you should be able to see the features on the moon. You should be...
Why? What? You should be able to see features in a silhouette? What are you talking about?
Be able to with a regular camera, with your regular eyes, with an infrared camera, but it has never been seen. There's only been anti-flat earthers that will fake an image and fade it into a picture of the eclipse. There's no video of it.
Oh, I see. So that's a cool screen grab. If he didn't look like such an idiot, that would be like a great avatar or something. So processing an image is fake cause reasons. No. This is like the same shit that you would say to discredit an image of a nebula because it requires a long exposure. That's probably what this is some kind of incredibly long exposure, probably stacked or something like that. But I bet I could probably find a few photos of the moon visible during, before, shortly after an eclipse. It can probably be done.
Think about what an amazing video would be if they could film it from the International Space Station or from the moon itself. Never happens because I don't believe the moon that we see is what's eclipsing the sun. There's lots of ancient mythology about other dark bodies.
There could be anomalous bodies up there. They're not actually visible to us.
A celestial body that we perhaps can't see, because there's on the spectrum of light, we can only see 1% of all the light rays, gamma rays, X-rays. We can't see these certain frequencies and energies and lights. What happens?
But we can measure them, and these dark objects, yada yada yada, have never been measured.
Is the sun is eclipsed by the so-called moon, but it's not the moon, it's actually the north node. There's been, times documented in the past where there's, this eclipse, and the moon's supposed to be eclipsing, and there's no moon anywhere in the sky. Nowhere. Anywhere. And that makes absolutely no sense. So there's got to be another celestial body. The oldest ancient symbols, and it's the black sun. A celestial body that we perhaps can't see.
Nice,
a lot of ancient civilizations
nice way to avoid copyright there. Completely ruin the song.
always spoke about a black sun. It's like, why are they talking about a black sun for hundreds, if not thousands of years?
Who is this?
A lot of ancient civilizations always spoke about a black sun.
None.
It's like, why are they talking about a black sun for hundreds, if not thousands of years? And that information now is turned into, oh, the black sun is an evil thing. It's like, well, yeah, of course, that's what they're selling it. They're selling it to you as an evil thing to stay away from it. They already don't want you to like the real sun in the sky. They push it so far.
Wait, they already...
Of course, that's what they're selling it. They're selling it to you as an evil thing to stay away from it. They already don't want you to like the real sun in the sky.
But I thought it was heliocentrism. It's sun worship. We worship the sun because it's our life giver. What are you talking about?
They push it so far away. They want you to not care about it. There's a reason it's close to you. There's a reason it's here for us. There might be more suns and moons on the outskirts of Antarctica, on the outer lands. There might be more suns and moons. There might be more suns and moons in our world here, but we just can't see it. And you talk about the seasons itself. Seasons
cool sci-fi.
The Earth is a stationary plane with a local sun.
When the sun is circling over the Earth over here in the Tropic of Cancer, these people here, they have summer. But 6 months later, the sun is over here. It's going around over here. So Australia down here, and South Africa, and South America, now they have summer because the sun is local. It's not 93 million miles away.
The sun and the moon revolving in spring.
It just makes absolutely no sense at all.
into the center seasonally and then springing back out again. This makes perfect sense than a spinning ball hanging on an invisible skyhook at a degree of 6.66 of a supposed axis, which tilts the Earth.
People need to stop defending a theory that they were taught in kindergarten.
So at sunrise, every sunrise should be...
As others pointed out, you're not learning heliocentrism in kindergarten. You're learning fucking colors and shapes. What are you talking about?
Arctically cold, because that is the most severe tilt possible. And to make it worse, in the northern hemisphere, in the helio-nonsensical model, the sun is 3.5 million miles farther away in our summer. But when the sun shows up on the
I really hope you guys didn't hear my stomach growl just now.
horizon, I can feel the heat on my face immediately. I can get a suntan in June. But in December, at solar noon, when the sun is at its highest point in the sky, I can look up at the sun and barely feel the heat on my face. And also, it's 3.5 million miles closer. The whole tilt thing doesn't make any sense.
And when the sun is on this side, it only illuminates.
I love these visualizations here because the sun apparently just decides exactly how far to send photons in each direction. Like, rays from the sun moving, let's say, southwest are going much further than sun rays heading straight east. None of this makes any sense.
This part of the Earth, because it's local. And this part is dark, that will be night. So it's quite easy to understand.
It's like the Terminator line makes no sense. It's just like the sun decides to stop shining there, cuz.
Day and night, and the seasons, and explain them on the flat Earth than it is with the globe model.
The sun, moon, and stars are rotating around our heads like a perfect clock. And it goes out of your view as taking the light with it. This is an intelligently designed and created place.
The sun does move about 15 degrees per hour through the sky, but when it gets close to the horizon, it kind of stops and it stays there and it moves at a different speed. I filmed this several times with my drone.
No, I don't think so. Pretty sure.
No humidity and not over water. And it'll just stop and sit there. And then it kind of just fades away as it goes into the distance.
But you've already shown other footage where it disappears from the bottom up, and that's what you're seeing just with glare. Like, that's all it is. The moment that it appears to rest at the horizon is when it's starting to disappear bottom up. You just can't see it. Because your eyes suck.
But at the same time,
And so does your drone's camera.
I have friends that were down at the beach that saw the sun set 10 minutes earlier from the bottom up. And that's simply because they're looking across a span of water that has a hill with trees, a tree line on it, which is hundreds of feet over their heads. But from their point of view, it's at eye level. And as the sun moves away, it just gets eclipsed by the tree line, which they think is eye level, but it's high up in the sky.
Water. It's always flat, always level.
That is
starting
so
at the
dumb.
northernmost point, as far as I can get, of Lake Michigan, and then traveling south, you can see that red line here, that the body of Lake Michigan is 574 feet above sea level, and it's level. There's no change in elevation, there's no curve. This cross-section showed...
Wow. Okay, you're definitely hearing my stomach rumble. We only have 8 minutes left. Let's power through, ladies and gents. 7 minutes-ish. Yeah, level isn't flat. This has been done. Level is not flat. They are not the same thing, so this argument's kind of irrelevant. Also, I'm going to say water isn't level. Two-part question. A, do tides exist? B, if tides exist, how is water level? It's higher in some places and lower in others. That's not level.
What an undisturbed body of water looks like, and that's level. We know that to be true. There's 3 properties of liquids. They have mass, they take up space, and they always take the shape of their container.
The physics of water is to find and maintain level. So if it's in a cup, to this lake behind me, to the seas, to the oceans, that's why I call it sea level, because it's flat and level.
Level, not flat. That's just basic deception.
No matter who tries to sell you the idea that water's curving over a ball, it's just not happening. That's the number one
'Cause I
proof
said
right
so.
there, just water alone. Water alone proves that the earth is flat. Because water always finds and maintains level, period. Water does not curve. In its temporary state, it's finding its level. Once it hits the ground and finds its level, it remains level.
I never even thought.
Hey, for a few frames there.
Water does not curve.
Hang on.
In its temporary state, it's finding its level. Once it...
Water does not curve. Water does not curve, he says, looking at spherical droplets of water.
Its level, it remains level.
I never even thought of the idea of water maintaining its level, and that alone just was like mind-blowing. Like, absolutely, water has to maintain its level. Like, it's always, if it's calm and there's nothing going on, you know, it's, you look at a lake, it's just chilling flat. It has to be. It can't curve.
There's nothing you can say or do to ever show water bending or curving. Water needs to be contained. No matter what you do, it's going to remain level.
The flat earth proves beyond a shadow of a doubt the existence of intelligent design, a creator. And we are all important in the center of the universe.
Yes, it is absolutely imperative.
But here's the thing. There is an apologist for everything. There are so many Christians, there are so many Muslims, there are so many Jews, there are so many people who will tell you that the design of the heliocentric model and spherical Earth is evidence of a creator. You don't need the Earth to be flat to believe in God. You just don't.
That we know that there is a creator, that the sun, moon, and stars revolve around us, that we have a purpose. We are at the center of the universe. I didn't become a millionaire until I realized I was at the center of the universe. Now I have a purpose.
Once you understand that you are at the center of creation. Really
curious as to how he became a millionaire exactly. How did he acquire those funds? Did he sell some flat earth bullshit? Is that what he did? Because if so, you know, good for him. You swindled some dumb people and made some money and got away scot-free. Good for you.
Everything changes. And basically we're unplugging from the matrix. We're unplugging from the heliocentric system. And when you do that, the rulers of the world...
That was knockoff Matrix text. That was funny.
You unplug from them. You stop feeding them what they need. They want your fear energy. They want your labor. They want everything from you. And people unknowingly just keep giving it.
Sorry, one sec.
To them.
It's my phone reminding me of something.
And I don't want my grandchildren to be lied to either. So if this is going to stop, it starts with you and I.
You know,
Have I got some sad news for you, sister? Your children are going to be lied to. Your grandchildren are going to be lied to. Your children are going to lie. Your grandchildren are going to lie. Probably to you.
I read all this stuff. You go to school and they teach you. When I was in grad school, man, I was shocked that most of my classmates were not really interested in learning. They were interested in passing a class.
On the one side, tens and tens of scientists proven that the Earth is stationary, and we...
Tens. He said it like it's a good thing.
We have nothing on the globe's side.
Nothing except the last 2,000 years of history.
So, the Earth is stationary.
No one thinks how easy it is to do this. And they pulled it off, unfortunately. But we're here now to completely reverse this. And people hate on us from the left and from the right. Everyone hates on us.
Because you're dumb.
Stuff. It's not important. It's the most important thing. It opens the door for everything else. You want to know the truth? You have to know where you live.
This whole agenda is to keep people disconnected from our creator, you know? They want to just cut all our...
So, was that little recreation there supposed to be convincing? Because, like, the second it started, I'm like, this isn't EVA footage. The astronaut's moving at normal speed and the solar panels are visibly moving. That's not going to happen on the ISS. You won't see the solar panels move except in a time lapse.
Ties spiritually, and that's one reason why they calcify our pineal gland.
They don't care about our health. You
What?
know this by look at your water supply. Even the water that you'll drink yourself when you go and buy bottles of it, it's got chlorine in it, it's got fluoride in it. These are all chemical waste products that they then rebrand and put in our drinks and tell you, oh, well, it cleans it. We'll also take away all of the medicine that's kept people alive and well for centuries. And they'll tell you, oh, no, that's not good for you, that's not safe for you. Here's our products, here's our petroleum.
That's kept people alive for centuries? Yeah. It was great back in the Middle Ages when the average age was 30.
Based medicine that they...
You're really gonna say...
They've been pushing on us for the past 100 years. And of course, look at people's health, look at the world's health. Are we a healthy nation? Is any nation a healthy nation? No. And who's in charge of healthcare? The governments, the corporations. So
Actually, at the end of the day, you know who's in charge of the health of the nation? The citizens. You know, the government can recommend whatever they want, but they cannot mandate your lifestyle. America, for instance, is not healthy because of its citizens' choices to not exercise, to eat bad food, etc. That's what causes bad health. You can't blame the government for your bad health. Are you kidding me?
it seems like everything that they touch turns to shit, so why do we allow them to touch everything?
Stop defending Rockefeller, Rothschilds, all these goons, these people that want the New World Order, the modern day people, Bill Gates, Schwab, all these people that they're pushing for it and they feel like it's almost there.
All those people you just mentioned, you haven't shown a single person I respect.
And we're sitting here fighting it. We're sitting here trying to wake the world up so we can have a peaceful and loving world again. And you're attacking us. Whose side are you on? We're trying to take these evil entities down that suppress our knowledge. We're trying to give knowledge back to the world.
Wasn't that Hands Around the World? Wasn't that a thing that was like organized by a huge corporation and like endorsed by multiple governments?
So we can become powerful again.
If there's more land, if 1 billion people found out tomorrow that they can all go to outer land space and visit other tribes and civilizations and explore technology and animals, the whole system would crumble.
And I know there's a lot of people.
I love that in this world, like in this world, the other lands are populated. It seems there's people on these lands, and they just seem to think that if they go there, everything's going to be given to them. Why?
People out there, celebrities, people with big shows, big names, with big followings that know the truth of this world, and you're keeping quiet just to protect your little empire. Well, now it's time to say something because the empire is falling. If we don't do something now, all of this is going away, and they're taking over this world. So speak out.
Who?
It just takes one celebrity, one person with a big following, and then it goes viral, and then the entire system collapses.
Except multiple celebrities have endorsed Flat Earth and they've all been ridiculed. So what are you talking about?
All of this world control is based on the heliocentric lie.
Well, that was trash. That was really bad. That was way worse than the first one. It did pick up towards the end there. It got weird at several points. But yeah, it's bringing me all to the conclusion that flat earthers just want to become an agrarian woodland cult where they live off the land. And they should do that. I encourage them to do that. I just encourage them to not, let's see. Don't bring Kool-Aid. Have a great day, everyone. If you enjoy this content, consider hitting the subscribe button. If you really enjoy this content, consider donating on Patreon, becoming a member, buying some of my books on Amazon, or buying some of my merch. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you over the curve, Space Cowboys.